All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. What we have for you today is our fifth 2020 GT350R Heritage models. We were onto these Heritage cars a little over a year ago, one of 280 that were produced. The Wimbledon white with the Guardsman blue stripes, the first one we got, it really did just take our breath away when we saw it, and we did a video on that way back. Getting pulled out of our transporter's trailer, it really does just take you back to the 1965 GT350 models with the white and the blue, and it is such a great representation, a great modern example with, you know, still paying respects to those cars. We love the 2020 350Rs. We've had a bunch besides just the Heritage cars, great cars. As many of you know, the sound of them, the manual transmission, the flat plane crank, just a collector's dream, and we've seen that with, you know, the recent sales of these cars and the, you know, consistent price increases that they continue to have. And I know a lot of people were saying, well, there's been a lot of them, you know, for sale, especially on Bring a Trailer, but you're going to see a little dip with that, and we're seeing that now. You know, a lot of guys were looking to sell them and cash in. Same thing happened last year with the Vipers. These cars are going to take, in my opinion, a significant jump as supply starts to run down, as Bring a Trailer doesn't have those cars readily available. And I spoke to a lot of guys about this. Bring a Trailer had a lot of those cars that were listed previously on different spots. There really wasn't a lot of cars that hit Bring a Trailer that weren't listed somewhere else. A lot of guys that have these have either sold them already, or they're in it for the long haul, or just straight up collecting them and not willing to sell them, because we've been trying to buy a few of them now for a while, and that's, you know, what we run into is guys just don't want to let these cars go, and they see, you know, where they're at up significantly more than what they MSRP'd for, even including the dealer markups that were over them. We had a few of the Heritage cars that had 20 grand markups on them above MSRP. So, you know, even if a guy spent 100 grand, we saw what they're doing. They're obviously a great investment for those people, so there's really no need for them to let them go. And like I said, I think you're really going to see these cars start to dry up now, and we're seeing that already, but you're going to see it even more so than I think many anticipate it. And when they come back out again, little by little, they're going to be cracking over 200 grand without much of a problem. So even though production numbers on the 2020 models are not officially out yet, we do know that there are 280 Heritage editions that were built. Don't really know why or understand why it's taking so long to get production numbers out on all the other models. We do have some connections and, you know, some people who are into the 350R community and well connected, and their numbers are a little over 700 total 2020 350Rs that were built. That is including the 280 models for the Heritage Rs. So this car currently has 10 miles on it. We start under the hood as we do on all the cars, and the flat plane crank 5.2 liter 526 horsepower V8 engine is a great place to start. That is the only Ford car to ever have the flat plane crank in it. As we mentioned in some of our other videos with these cars, a lot of Ford fans were hoping that motor would go into the new Ford GTs. Never happened, so you're looking at a car now as we move into the electric car era that's probably never going to be put in any car again. So you have a Heritage edition with the flat plane crank manual transmission, and you can see why collectors are really salivating at the opportunity to own one of these Heritage cars. As I mentioned, the 6-speed manual transmission, Wimbledon white exterior with Guardsman blue stripes. A lot of people will see this and say, oh, it's white. They made white in other years. They did not make Wimbledon white. That is a 2020 exclusive color only, and that is why it is the Heritage edition. And you have the Guardsman blue stripes to go along with it, and it really is eye candy. No matter how many of these we owned, I'm sure we'll get more in the future whenever that may be. You really just appreciate and respect the car for what it is, not just aesthetically, but the history of it as well. As you move to the interior, you have the ebony with red accent interior. Recaro seats finished in cloth with the micro suede. The exposed carbon fiber interior. The technology package, cross traffic alert, navigation, B&O sound system and stereo, the rear wing, carbon fiber wheels with wheel locks, and the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. This car is going to be included with the window sticker, which is still attached on the passenger window, car cover, and your welcome box, chassis crank, and all the documentation and literature that came right from factory. Offered with just 10 miles on the odometer, this 2020 Ford Shelby GT350R pays homage to the original as the raciest Mustang in Ford's stable, but with the level of refinement and sophistication that never would have occurred to the first R models. The GT350R follows in the original's footsteps by redefining the Mustang with sensational on-track performance while taking advantage of Ford's 21st century expertise, most notably in the awe-inspiring Voodoo V8 engine, the 5.2 liter all-aluminum double overhead cam power plant that has thrilled GT350R drivers with its 526 horsepower, and a raging exhaust note that can only come from its combination of the flat plane crank, free flow plumbing, and the 8,250 peak RPM. And if you guys have never heard one of these in person, I highly recommend it. If you don't have the ability to do that, definitely do a search, little YouTube search, Google search, and listen to the sound of the flat plane crank, especially when they open it up and put it into sport mode. For us, it's the best sounding car we've ever owned, and that's including the C7 ZR1s, Vipers, Super Snakes, you name it. The 350R, when it comes to modern domestic muscle cars, in our opinion and many others, is the best sounding car there is. The GT350R's Voodoo engine pairs exclusively with the Tremec smooth shifting 6-speed manual transmission, insisting on full driver involvement and contributing to a 0 to 60 time of 3.8 seconds. This 2020 GT350R jolts the senses upon first sight with its Wimbledon white and Guardsman blue stripes, deep front splitter, and high rear wing. The doors open to reveal an ebony interior with exposed carbon fiber trim and red accents. Deeply bolstered Recaro seats are finished in a combination of cloth and micro suede to hold occupants gently but firmly in place. In addition to the B&O premium sound system, the technology package includes such features as cross traffic alert and navigation, while a full array of instruments in the short throw shifter take center stage during on-track workouts. Wrapped in low-profile Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 rubber, the exclusive 19-inch carbon fiber wheels shave 65 pounds from the curb weight, and the rear seat delete removes another 100 pounds, adding to a considerable weight reduction. The result is a car that has already been anointed as a future classic. All right, so that's a wrap on our 2020 350R Heritage with 10 miles. As we open the video, if you haven't already, now is a perfect time to buy one of these cars because supply is definitely shrinking. You're gonna see these cars continue to climb. I keep saying it's like the Vipers of last year. They were readily available, especially the 5th gen ACR Extremes. And then they took a little break and they soared again in price. That's exactly what you guys are going to be seeing and we're going to be seeing with the 350R Heritage models. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and be on the lookout for what we have coming.